Oh. Oh. I think, is it all right? You just kicked it. I just want to make sure.
Yep, I think we're good. Excellent. Okay, perfect.
Cool.
So, welcome ITN friends. I'm Brett with In the Now magazine with
Mark. And if you're not in the now, you're in the nothing.
Excellent. So, hey Mark, appreciate your time today. Currently you guys are on tour with Volbeat, Five Finger Death Punch, and Hell Yeah. How's that going so
it's
far?
awesome. It's really, really good. Everyone's been super nice, and it's just been a pleasure kind of sharing the time and the stage with all these great bands. So
Awesome.
we're honored.
So now this tour runs through October, is that correct?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Wraps up, I think, on October 26th, or around Knotfest, probably around Knotfest, actually.
So you guys playing Knotfest?
We are,
Awesome,
man.
awesome.
We're really pumped. Yeah.
That's cool. So after that you guys head to the UK.
Yeah, that's that we do, man. We'll wrap up real quick, man.
All right.
Thanks. Sorry. Yeah. Going to the UK in November, the latter half of November, with the Pretty Reckless and Heaven's Basement. That's gonna be really cool.
Excellent. Sounds like a good bill right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. Nice. So now you guys actually, to back up a little bit, you were over in the UK for Download Festival. How was the reception for that?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It was amazing for sure. Just getting across the pond in general was huge for us. So we're really excited to go back.
That's awesome. So after the UK, what happens?
Then we come back to the States. We'll do 2 weeks. We have some radio shows lined up in December, and then off for the holidays. Excited to have some time home.
Nice.
Be nice. And then January, we're pumped to be on tour with Periphery. We're gonna do a full U.S. tour with them, about 7 weeks or so, and then it's all straight to Australia for Soundwave.
Oh, nice.
And actually, straight from there, we'll go back to Europe and we'll do a full European tour with Hailstorm.
Wow, that sounds great. So you guys are straight out.
Yeah,
You got everything laid right out. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's all about the exposure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So now, kind of getting into the new record, you guys released your 6th record this year. It's self-titled.
Mm-hmm.
It's your first record with 11.7, but I mean, it charted at 33 here in the States.
Right.
And you got a #1 single on the active rock charts. How's that feel?
Oh, amazing. It's like I said before, you know, it's an honor. We're really pumped about all the success and the response we've had with radio and just with, you know, stations like Octane in general. They really jumped on board and supported us, so it's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what it's all about, right? So tell us about the relationship with 11.7. How's that going?
Good. Honestly, you know, we've heard from, you know, bands, friends of ours and everything from about labels have just been horror stories, and honestly, we haven't had any bad experience at all. It's been really cool. Everyone there is really cool, and we're you know, always open to discussing things and seeing things from a different angle, and hearing them out on something, or letting us, you know, if they can hear us out on some things too. But it's been a pleasure. It's been really cool, and we got nothing bad to say. It's
That's
all
awesome.
good stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Like you said, a lot of these labels, you know, they tend to take advantage of the talent, and it's all about the money for them. And you know, then you hear these horror stories, like you said. So it's good. It's refreshing to hear that, you know, there's actually labels out there for the bands.
Yeah, no, totally. And we get, you know, everybody's got to, you know, put food on the table and everything. And we get it, and they're the next step we needed. They were really passionate about us, and Alan Kovac in general, you know, really believed in our message and in, I guess, what rock really needed kind of for this generation. So we're pumped to be a part of it and see what happens.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. So you take us kind of through the writing process with Nothing More. How does it all work out? You know, who does what and how does it work?
Yeah, it's always different. Every song, you know, some songs come from different members, but we try to really be as honest as we can with the art and to, you know, personal experiences that each of us have had as far as family member deaths or, you know, relationships of the sorts, spiritual beliefs, you know, if one of us is inspired by a particular philosopher or you know, moved by a band in a way that it's like, let's do something like this, we'll go with that. A lot of times it starts with a guitar riff or whatever musically, and then we'll see how that makes us feel, and then kind of connect it with the lyrical concept, and really just ask ourselves all around, is this badass? You know, is the music badass? Is the guitar badass? The bass, the drums, the vocals, the melodies, the lyrics. Is it badass? Are we happy with it? You know, and don't rest until it's badass.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, now as far as the production, did you guys self-produce this album, or did you actually bring somebody in so it's self-produced?
Yeah. We self-produced it. Johnny actually spearheaded the project. We were all part of I did a ton of editing on it, but he was more at the helm with a lot of the programming and most of the tones and engineering. It was the great thing about self-producing is you have as much time as you need. You're not paying for it because you're your dude.
That's it. Sure, absolutely.
But sometimes you just, because there's no deadline, so to speak, you know, you can end up going in circles and you never get happy with something a lot of times.
Overthink it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But, you know, we're extremely proud of what we've done, and we did self-produce the one before it too, with the exception of 3 tracks we did with our manager Will Hoffman, who actually, he's definitely like a 5th member of the band, and just a great mentor that we bounce ideas off of and really listen to his fresh ears, basically, in his opinion.
Nice. So for those out there who don't know about a day in the life of a touring band, especially, you know, where you guys are at, kind of bring us through how it all works out. You know, just before the interview, we were kind of discussing that you just drove up here from Baltimore. You guys are splitting driving time, so
right.
It's not all glamour, right? It's not all, you know, we're on stage, so kind of give the fans out there a taste of what is it really like in the day in the life of you guys.
Yeah. Well, if we take it from 9 p.m. last night, Dan started driving. We go 3-hour driving shifts. You know, not too long, not too short. I took over at midnight and drove till 3 or 3:30, somewhere from New York City to close to here, Lowell, Massachusetts. I mean, graveyard shifts in general are really difficult. You gotta coffee up, get as much caffeine as you can. And then had to wake up at 9 a.m. to be at a radio station and perform for the radio, you know, on 4 hours of sleep.
Who was that?
WAAA?
WAAF?
F.
Okay, there you go, sure.
Yeah, they were great people
awesome,
there.
awesome.
Mike Shue over there, really nice guys. And
cool.
Carrie as well. But you know, we did that for a couple hours and came here, you know, prepped all our gear, and right now, as you can hear the rumbling and everything, it's, you know, Five Finger and Volbeat and Hell Yeah are all sound checking, and then we'll throw our gear up there, hopefully get 30 minutes, if that, to sound check, and then we hit the stage at 6 o'clock, and we play for 25 minutes, which is short, but we'll take what we can get.
Once again, it's back to that exposure.
Yeah, we're honored to be in front of every person we can, and honored that, you know, that they put us on this tour and they believed in us. So.
Well, that's great. So it's not all, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's all here. I mean, if you guys are driving and stuff, it probably makes it a little difficult to go ahead and throw a few back.
You gotta be responsible for sure at this stage, and you know, we do, if there's a day off or whatever, we do get to let loose a bit. I'm not gonna lie or anything. We're only human too.
Absolutely. So, well, Mark, tell us some of your influences. You know, who actually got you to start playing?
Yeah, man. Actually, you know, my dad tried to teach me at 9, and it was acoustic, and it just hurt my fingers, and I wasn't having it. And then at 14, you know, I wanted to play electric, and so I finally did. I was real heavily involved in voice, and I traveled a bunch in a choir. So I was always very into the melody aspect of music. I guess what I was a little more naturally gifted in. And so from then, I actually got real into Metallica. It's like all these super fast, like
Metallica.
Yeah, guitar solos. Learned a bunch of those. Then I got into Incubus real heavily.
Yeah.
And then I went to a couple years of college and in San Antonio at UTSA and studied classical guitar and got real into that. That made me a super music theory geek, and which probably has a lot to do with the influence of me. Yeah,
Awesome,
my playing.
awesome. So when you guys are on tour, what are you doing? I mean, once again, do you guys need to go back to San Antonio? Do you have to? It was San Antonio, is that right? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
San Antonio.
and our drummer's from New Orleans.
Okay, so I mean, do you guys do you have to work, or do you, how does it work?
Right. Right now, basically, we've kind of scheduled it to where we all lay out our bills, and this is what we need a month. And while we're on tour, the band's got to cover it. And we got to make enough to stay alive, and hopefully we can float ourselves to where we don't have to work when we go home. But it really just all depends. We all do odd jobs, as far as guitar lessons, drum lessons, a little producing, songwriting sort of things here and there. But the goal is to, I think, just focus on nothing more eventually, and just do that to where we don't have to, I guess, do a lot of those little things, or we can just relax more home.
Well, that's great. It seems like you guys have a lot of traction right now too, so you take advantage of that, right?
It's going very well.
To go ahead and chart at 33 on the billboards, and have a number one active rock single. I mean, that's awesome,
Yeah.
So you got to roll on that roller coaster,
Uh-huh.
go with that. So that's fantastic. So, so is there any other bands out there new today that you kind of want to give a shout out to that you recommend people kind of check out? Or
Absolutely.
what are you listening to?
Our boys from Galveston, Texas, To Whom It May, great band. They don't have much online right now, but they're working on a record, and I'm very, very excited for its release. We throw them on any home shows or whatever we can to help out. They're great musicians, great dudes. And the band He's Legend, I'm just really into getting back into their stuff. They just released a new record called Heavy Fruit. It's just, I don't know, it's what an electric guitar should sound like, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know. That guy's Adam Tanbus or Tanbu, or however you pronounce his last name, he's a madman, and he's just got riffs for days that are
That's awesome.
tasty.
Nice. So, kind of getting back to the live show real quick. I mean, you guys put on a monster show. It's crazy,
Thanks, man.
So how did that all come about? And kind of describe to people your live show so they come out and check it out. They should.
Yeah. We've invested in it just like our album and our songwriting, to where we know that we're entertainers and we're on a stage. So when people are watching, we want to know how are we going to get them to come back. This isn't just, we're not just playing our songs. So for example, it's been an evolution of the sorts. We've always had like bass solos or drum solos, and we get creative with sort of metalworkings. Our bass player taught himself how to weld over the years, and at first we were playing the bass, or he was playing the bass, I was playing the neck of the bass, and Johnny was hitting it with sticks. Then it's like, well, let's get it to where Johnny's back doesn't have to be, at the audience. And so it's like, okay, so if we can tilt the bass up here, and then Dan's like, well, I'm going to make it swing too. So basically it's always an evolution, and we're even more excited for the next step.
That's great. Yeah, you should definitely check these guys out. You sound great. So
Nice.
I checked out some of the live shows on YouTube, and I was like, wow, blown away.
Thanks,
and
man.
So yeah, it looks great. So what do you think of the state of music today? I mean, do you think it's a little more difficult to go ahead and kind of rise to the top nowadays, the way things are with the internet and everything?
Right, yeah. I mean, we were just talking about this actually at the radio station with Carrie a bunch. It's great, that the internet's there and there's so much to look and see, but it's hard because it's so saturated. It's hard to find good stuff, and then whoever dictates what's on the radio or anything like that, it's always confusing. There's always politics in anything. Really, right. What we believe in, and I think what everybody believes in, is that the cream will rise. If it's good, it's good, and just you don't stop. Gene Simmons is saying that the big statement rock is dead. And
what do you want to say to that right now?
Oh, I mean, he's got great points. He's absolutely right. I think for his era, coming from that, it makes sense. I just think it's different now, and you just figure it out. If you're a rock band now, it may mean more work in different ways. Mm-hmm. That's all I think. But if it's good, it's good. Just work hard, work smart, and it's going to be okay.
Well, it's no doubt you guys are a part of that cream of the crop these days. So
thank you, man.
That's great.
Too kind.
So I'm going to kind of go to a bit of a different question here.
Okay.
It's football season. Are you a football fan?
I'm not.
You're not? Oh, no. So,
you'd have to talk to our drummer.
Talk to the drummer. He's the football fan. I was going to say you guys must be Houston fans or
actually,
something like that.
He's from New Orleans.
So he's a New Orleans Saints fan. All right.
Yeah, big time.
You a sports fan at all? Or?
I love the Spurs, man.
Hey,
we just won.
That's right. 2014 champs, right?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Spurs go.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome.
Yeah,
So
great, man. Sorry, man. We'll get out of here.
Yeah. So, last question for you, Mark. Here's what we got here. If you were to tell me the last song that you heard, iPod, in the van, whatever it is, what was it?
The very last song that I heard? Man, I've been listening to that He Is Legend record a lot, and the first couple tracks are great. Yeah, that Heavy Fruit is an incredible song. No Visitors, it's a good one. I forget the name of the second track. That one's moving me.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm totally into them right now.
Well, that's great. Well, I certainly appreciate your time. Thanks a lot, man. It was good meeting you.
Yeah.
And for the folks out there, be sure to check out Nothing More's self-titled album right now. It's out in stores everywhere, right, Mark?
Yeah,
All right.
This is true. Yeah, you can find it anywhere. And check out the new video for Mr. MTV now. It's on Vivo, YouTube. We're real happy with it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Mark.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I should have listened to John.